Okay, so this week I want to talk about hamstrings. It's funny, every time I go to the gym to train hamstrings, or when I'm training them, I always think of the delicious dinner they serve at Denny's. Well, it's not really a dinner, it's kind of more like a 2 or 3 in the morning kind of drunken night dinner slash meal, whatever you want to call it, called Moons Over My Hammies. Yeah, it's good. Many a drunken nights, but if you haven't tried it, try it. But anyways, so hamstrings, I really don't have a whole lot on it. I train biceps once a week, so what I do when I do biceps, I do a lot of curls. So when you train hamstrings, you do curls as well. So what I've been doing for a while, and I really like it, is I'll do my biceps, and then after I'm done with that, I will do maybe around 6 sets of hamstring curls. So it's kind of like an all curl day. And I really like to break it up like that because whenever I went to the gym and trained all lower body in one day, like I did quads and then hamstrings, it's kind of became just too much for lower body. So when I do biceps and break it up and then do hamstrings, it's kind of like breaking it up by doing upper body and lower body in the same day. I really like doing it that way because it kind of helps me focus more on the individual muscle groups. But anyways, I don't really do a whole lot for hamstrings, like I said, as far as isolation exercises go. So I do my curls with my biceps, then I'll go over and our gym has a seated hamstring machine where you sit down and you kick the weight back. And then every gym I've ever been to has a laying hamstring extension. So you lay on the machine and you curl the weight back up over your backside, which both are pretty much do the same thing, but I usually do 3 sets of one and then 3 sets of the other just to break it up. But if I had to choose one over the other, definitely the laying hamstring curl machine. But yeah, I just do maybe 20 reps, not a whole lot of weight on it, kind of keep the motion going and you know, to where you feel the burn, maybe after the 15th rep, somewhere around there. You know, something like that, light, but that really hits the isolation on there. Plus, when I do back, I always do a modified deadlift. It's called a rack pull. So when you're doing a deadlift, you know, you're bringing the weight all the way off the ground. But I don't ever do that because you're involving a lot of the legs with the deadlift on the bottom half of the movement. So with the rack pull, it's a modified deadlift. So what you do is you go to the rack and you elevate the bar so that when you're picking it up, it's more around like this. So you're not really involving the quads, it's hitting the back. And I'll talk more about that when I talk about back, but that exercise destroys the hamstrings. Literally, like the motion just going from here to here, it's enough to hit the hamstring. So you really don't have to hit them as far as the isolation exercises go. But I still recommend it, just because the more you hit it, the better as far as, you know, hitting the isolation, and then, you know, some of the other exercises hit it because it keeps it from getting injured. The last thing you want to do is, you know, do a rack pull and then blow out a hamstring or something. So I always recommend the isolation exercises, even if you do 6 sets once a week. That's what I've done for a long time, mainly because I don't see a reason to do more, and it's very boring. Hamstrings easily, hands down, most boring exercise in the gym. So it's like, oh, but you know, just simple, takes 10 minutes to hit it. But so anyways, this week's going to be really short. That's all I have on hamstrings.